Hello everyone, JinLair here, back with the next game of X-Slaves vs. PinkWings. You're gonna be sending loklok next. Another TVP looks like. We have World of Sleepers, meaning if it does go to the final game, we're gonna have Nightshade, the map, which is so dark you can't even see in the fog of war. As if this is Age of Empires or any other RTS game, more along the random generation style rather than the specific map style. A previous game would have gone in my favor if it wasn't for massive siege timing. And also, on that map, even though you can't wall off on the jump up ramp, the jump up ramp isn't that good in terms of positioning because you can't jump up on the third base location. So you can see my Reapers kind of got stuck in between all of his production. Like, even if his Immortal popped there on like a normal map, I could still just run around the back of the mineral line, get some SCVs kills, and maybe have a few Reapers live. But there I just couldn't. I have to run through his Immortal because the base is laid out kind of weird in terms of the jump up ramp. But it still would be better than, say, on this map where he would just full wall off. Whatever. I just realized we haven't seen a single proxy at all this entire series on either side, which is a little surprising. I expected to see it on the final game from Warhawk. Okay, that pylon is not in a position to wall this off. So, I assume he's just going to build a single pylon there. Is my guess. Later on, that is. He's going to wall off this part of the jump up ramp. I do like how these have 10 minerals and like 20 minerals on Zen compared to 5 on Thunderbird. It's an early scout in SCV. Yep. And even though it is Nexus before Cyber, it's Nexus and then instantly after Cyber, which is actually kind of dumb. Like, you really shouldn't do that. You should be building Nexus. Like, if he went Nexus and then Cyber, and if the Cyber had this timing, okay, he could have the Nexus down way earlier. He could have the Nexus down like 5-10 seconds earlier. Single Reaper. And actually, given the timing, I think he might be able to get the Reaper across. What he really should do is attack with the Reaper, because he's not going to have a stalker out in time. Warhawk didn't do that. He just went, he just did a little circle around with scouting and then focused back at home. Now, with the damage health on the probe, even if it regens shields, SCV will win this fight, so the probe can only just run away. You shouldn't be running away with the SCV there. You should be fighting that. So yeah, now he's full walled with 3 buildings. He's got double gate. Go for a full scalp, but isn't move commanding well. And just now building Rubbo. You might think it's Stargate because he's going to be building something behind that pylon. Hellions. This is something I very much don't like against a Warbuffll player. Hellions is something you pretty much should never be doing in TVP because by doing this, by going Hellions in PvP, you're basically purely relying on the fact that your opponent goes greedy. Now, did he see that there was a second gateway? Because previously he's gone for just one gateway, and he's gone very, very greedy. Like, he's just skyrocketed tech, has very few units, and Hellions probably could do something, but he doesn't know about this second gate. He's actually making a sentry and a stalker, which he was lacking all last game. Or actually, not all last game, but all all of the game versus Warhawk. He did not make any sentries, which is amazing that he ended up winning with that. Like, if he just has one Guardian Shield, like that, all that changes. Swapping things over. Liberator. Late swap on the barracks. Okay, I was about to say, why does he only have 3? I think he... Yeah, this is the issue. Shouldn't... Yeah. So when you see full wall like that, you definitely shouldn't, like, just kind of stutter. You have to be consistent. And this is what I'm talking about. He expected the same kind of build, but it was different. Did get some workers. 6 is okay for 4 Hellions. And thankfully he doesn't actually have enough to immediately punish him. If he had more units, he could just A move and win, because you're spending a lot of that production time into units that don't kill Protoss. They kill probes, and that's it. Now, he doesn't have much anti-liberator. He does have 4 stalkers, but they're out of position, and I don't see them getting in position. He's not going disruptors this game. He's going to go into Twilight here. Now he's moving more stalkers in. This guy, what is with this guy getting lucky with timing? Also, by the way, you should never siege up your liberator like this. For those of you who don't know, people do that because anytime that a probe goes back, it's basically not possible to use the Nexus whatsoever as long as you do that. The problem with that is that it leaves your liberator 100% exposed. So that's something you should never do unless it's like super late game and you're defending like 5 different angles and you can't keep track of all of them. Okay. Also, why are you... What are these supply depots, bro? Like, you're walling off here, but then you build supply depots here. Like, if you want to build them farther back because you want them to be more safe, then why not put them here? Like, you look at all this space. You're gonna make them less vulnerable by making them a tiny, tiny, tiny bit less vulnerable. Viking gonna intercept, but I mean, Viking alone isn't... Well, usually it wouldn't really do too much, but in this case it's double immortal, so he can kill the Warp Prism. But he doesn't have anything to punish the Immortals. He doesn't even have Stim Pack yet. He went Combat Shields before Stim, and he's not even chasing with the Viking. That's very, very bad. The Viking's not going to help against the Immortals. And he just recalls them. Yeah, not chasing. The Viking definitely could have caught up to that Warp Prism. The Warp Prism is not that fast. So if you just chase with the Warp Prism, kill that, and then just defend it with the rest of your army, you're in a fine position. Now, he didn't really get too much damage then there. He did a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, if it's just 2 Immortals, you know your Viking literally can't be killed. So, just chase it down. It's not going to help at all against Immortals, so... He's going to go in Colossus this game. And a big gateway explosion. He's got a 3rd coming as well. Double eBay and Armory coming up. And just now getting double barracks. So he's not going to be able to really push anytime soon. The problem with loklok is that he's not scouting at all. He's not done any follow-up scouting since he went in with those Hellions, and he hasn't scanned at all. Now, you should kind of assume that there's a 3rd base starting around this time. But, I mean, if he's doing that... Like, okay. He's got a Cyclone and a Viking ready to catch something, but nothing in the main. Yeah, he needs to definitely move out right now. 1/+1 attacks finishing, and you got this coming out. It looks like, once again, this guy's going to get... This might not even be siege timing. This just might be him getting insanely lucky, because this is now the 4th time this game where someone's... Or 4th time in the past 2 games that someone's moved out, and right then, you get attacked. And look at the Stim Pack denied. Why did you start Stim before Combat Shields? And now, look at this. He moved back, and then, like, okay, yeah, let's move across the map. This is something you never want to do. If you are going to move across the map, you have to choose right then and there. If you see a drop coming, you have one choice right then and there. You attack or you come back. There's no difference. Because what he's doing is that he's half and half. And he's still half and half. He's bringing these guys back. Looks like he might barely intercept. This will be really good for him. Yeah, he really needed that. Because he's not playing that good this game. And his opponent has a third, and he hasn't even started up a third yet. Okay, no, he's got a third all the way in the main. Has he still not seen this? This is really cringy. He's not stimming his bio either. Just in the main. Kills the zealots with that. He's getting some good damage here. You should move those medevacs away. And why did you move Kame? Oh my god, this is honestly just really cringy. Just watching like very noobish mistakes made by people who are often higher league than me. What's the APM looking like? Because there's one player on my team, Foreign player / Bomb, who was playing super badly because he had an insane amount of APM and was just kind of freaking out. And like, having high APM is completely pointless if you're not using that APM for everything. Like, he reacted to stuff insanely slowly. Like, he was focusing on just having high APM and not actually doing anything with it. Like, he was checking his barracks. Like, he was double-clicking, looking back at home, when he should be looking back across the map with the engagement that was happening. So, worker count, now heavily in loklok's favor. But army setup is not. He's got 3 Colossus, and he's not making any Vikings. You're playing against Colossus, you need a second starboard, you need Vikings. I wonder if he even realizes it. And he's got Storm as well, doesn't he? I think this might just be game. He denied Stim. He still doesn't have Stim. Oh my god. He thinks there's a base there, but honestly, any Terran who takes a base there instead of there is just an idiot. I'm going to be honest. It's far easier to defend this base. Okay, he is getting some decent damage, but you got Colossus and Storm. He can't move into this. One Storm's just going to kill the whole army. Okay, that was a bit of an early Storm, so that helps him. Oh, and he's got Ghost coming. Okay, that's it. Push, push, push. You gotta push. You gotta push with your Vikings and your Baya, buddy. You EMP'd them. Just go in. And as you can see, the EMPs were not that good because they didn't hit the Templar. But good enough of a surround that he's able to trade well. And he does still have the worker lead. So all he has to do is hold on and not lose too much. You really should jump on that one High Templar. And that's exactly why. So yeah, not only a little cringy from both players here, not reacting to some easy stuff, but I mean, Warbuffll's won the last 2 games purely because of luck. Or not past 2 games, but my game and this game have been insanely lucky for him. Insanely lucky. 4 times. 4 times he attacks his opponent right as they move out. 4 times. I mean, think about it. He would have probably ended the game right there if he didn't lose that War Prism and those 2 Immortals. Think about it. He's going to be sending in some Zealots. Going to cross past that medevac. It doesn't look like he saw them. Oh, nope, he did, but there's another round here. So yeah, just deal with that round. And then deal with the second round. Yeah, he's rallying way too short, though. He's rallying units here. He's got a bunch of bio just there, just not doing anything, which is a big mistake. Like, they're not... There you go, buddy. Yeah, also, never look away from your medevac when it's about to drop it. Also, he needs to be dropping. He really should be dropping while moving. I've seen him do it before, so I know it's something he knows how to do. Like, it's one thing if you just straight up don't know how to do it. I don't blame someone for that, believe me. It took me ages to figure out how to do that. Armies play heavily in loklok's favor, but the High Templar, the Storm, I mean, I haven't seen him, like, pre-split once this whole game. And other than that one time that the Storm had already hit him. So the pre-splitting pretty much didn't do anything. He's going to go for a double medevac drop. what are the upgrades looking at? The upgrades are actually quite a bit in Loklok's favor. His opponent's about to get +3, but hasn't gotten any armor. He's about to get +3 weapons and +2 armor. Actually, that's a pretty big Artosis pylon. If he kills both those pylons, every single gateway is powered. He's got 3 there, and that's it. Also, this is, in my opinion, a big misplay. He's flying over here with no information, and he's looking away. Look at this. He's looking back at home. He's flying straight into to where he knew the army was last. He knew his army was flying there, and he's about to lose both medevacs. Told you. You knew his army was standing there last time he was there. And yet you look back at home, you don't scan, you don't do anything. You're asking for them to get picked off, buddy. You're asking for them to be picked off. At this point, he really shouldn't be dropping at all. He needs to just repair his medevacs, repair his Vikings, get a critical mass of Vikings, get some EMPs going. Ideally, get Cloak. Get Cloak and just cloak in on top of the army. Because he actually doesn't have an observer with the army. He literally could just cloak in some ghosts, EMP the entire army. I'm really worried for loklok here, because he's just thrown away a bunch of units, and his opponent still has 4 High Templar. And he's not in a position to EMP anything. And he's clumped up real bad. He's also not microing at all. Okay, thankfully he does have quite a lot of Archons. The Storms were not good at all. He's got 2 Observers there. Even stormed his own Observers. Nearly killed them. Yeah, he really should be pushing. You shouldn't be able to let the High Templar get their energy back. And he really needs to be scanning here. And look at this. Why? Look at this rally. He's rallied here, and then he's going to drop, like, here. I can't even see where he's dropping. It's literally not even possible for him to drop. If you're not going to scan, first of all, you should... Warbuff's drop, or loklok's dropping is really, really, really poor, especially since he's done the exact same angle every single time where he knows his opponent's army's been. There's not been a single successive drop in that spot, yet he's gone for it every single time. And he's not changed anything, and he's done it every single time, and it's failed every single time because he hasn't changed anything. Also, clumping up his units again. He's at least mass expanding, but his opponent's going into Fleet Beacon here. And he's got DT Shrine. And no turrets. 1 there. It's damaged. That's another thing, is he hasn't repaired any of his medevacs or any of his Vikings or anything. Even though he's just been standing on his side of the map for the entire game. I mean, he's got higher armies play this whole game, yet it doesn't matter. He's even got Disruptors, High Templar, and a bunch of Archons. Yeah, honestly, this is better than dropping with medevacs. Because you don't know how to drop with medevacs, dude. I'm sorry, but it's just, you just stop. Like, really, just stop. I'm so glad you're not dropping with medevacs anymore. And don't attack! Run! Oh my gosh. He's not dealing with splash damage properly at all. I think he's going to win this because... Nope, never mind. He's got DTs backing him. He can do a lot of damage, but it's not going to end right here. In fact, if it's going to end right here, it's going to be in his favor. In Warbuff's favor. His macro was good, but micro was horrendous. Horrendous. Look at this. You see this resources lost tab? Half of that, if not more than half of that, was to suiciding medevacs. Not even kamikaze strikes, not even suiciding with damage. Just flat out suicides. Also, he knew his units were getting attacked by Dark Templar, and has not built any turrets. He's building 3 CCs and no turrets. Don't build turrets in the mineral line, buddy. Yeah, and for anyone who thinks one scan counters DTs, you're wrong. Because all you have to do is get out of scan radius, and then they don't have a scan anymore. Now, luckily for him, he's got a lot more bases, so, I mean, that's his one thing, but he's just thrown away so much. I mean, he's had the army supply lead this entire game. The entire game. It's never been close. Build a turret! Oh. Loklok, what are you doing? He's building sensor tower, planetary, 3 orbitals. Oh my gosh, and he's not building any turrets, and he just got so many SCV losses because of that. He's also not scanning across the map at all. Like look at this. Look at his information. He doesn't know about DT Shrine. He sees a bunch of gateways, and that's it. He knows there's something else at this point. It's 20-minute mark. You should at least scan the army. He scans that base at least. Almost didn't see that observer. Didn't actually. That one observer, by the way, even if the thing is, even if that observer wasn't there, he still would have just suicided all his medevacs because his units were just standing there the whole game. And the thing is, he's doing this. You pretty much never should do this without medevacs. The problem is, every single time he's done a medevac drop, it's gone poorly, and that's why he's doing just this. Also, his opponent is using observers. Far too few people use observers like this. There's an observer here, an observer here. He should put just an observer here, and he can't be attacked pretty much without seeing it. He's actually going to trade very well with these bio units. Now, income is far in his favor. Army supply is still in his favor, but army is just terrible. He has nothing to deal with Tempest, and he just now scans and sees the Tempest. Also, the multiple scan there when your bio died, it's just going to make it so he doesn't have. Again, no turret here, no turret here. Bruh. This is so cringy. Also, that stim was definitely too early. Dude. His engagements are so bad. Oh my gosh. I really don't want to rant on my teammate, but still. Oh my gosh. I mean, he's surprisingly not dead yet, but he really should move those liberators forward. He's getting a lot of kills here, so his opponent's not going to have much income soon because his bases are mining out. Main's mined out, natural's mined out. He could still win this, but he's still just remaking the exact army he had. He's not building anything to deal with the Tempests. So he's traded well, and he's remaking, which his opponent can't do that comfortably because he's not mining as much, but I mean, look, he's making 1 BC at a time. That's not going to be out in time, buddy. And sure, you got a good bio chunk, but that's not going to deal with DTs and Tempests. First of all, you can't be using your scans. That's another issue. Because currently, I don't see an insane amount of energy. You should have like 6 scans in River Serve when your opponent's playing with that many DTs. And look at how many Marines he's got. He doesn't even have enough Marines to the point where if they target fire, they can kill the Tempest. To the point where if he's got nothing else... Oh, no. He needs to jump on the Tempest, right? And that's the issue. You can't even jump on the Tempest with that. Thankfully, he killed some of his own units. But this is the problem. He's just continuously making the exact same army. And he's got 2 starboards. He's not using with any... He's not building anything out of them. You can make friggin' 4 Vikings at a time here, bro. 4. 5 because of this starport. And you're not. Look at how many minerals he's floating. Like, seriously, he makes 4 Vikings right now, and he's got that BC coming out with Yamato Cannon. Tempests are gone. Like, look at how small this army is, and it's so small because his opponent just has nowhere to mine. But he's just throwing away so many units. I mean, I'm really surprised that that Loklok's still in this. He's also forgotten about this. If you know, let's put it this way: if you're gonna rally to a position, you need to be constantly checking on that position. Okay. He's got one BC, but BCs are a unit that are useless in singulars, similar to Swarmos. Just having one or two Swarmos doesn't do anything. And he's not even splitting up his army that well. Just now he's moving properly. Oh wow, that was super lucky. I feel like that has to be a misclick. Dude, stop. Okay, I'm gonna put this right now. I'm gonna say this right now. I have almost never played versus people with disruptors, and even I still play better than Warhawk and loklok 2 versus disruptors. It's very simple. Just don't clip up your units, and if you see the opponent, just immediately like throw off a disrupt shot. Instantly run away. And if you react late, don't try to run away. Just split up your units. And now he's got this base up, and please tell me he knows about it. He does not. I didn't expect him to. Just bringing his orbital over there. He really needs to be scouting out bases, because if he realized, I don't think he realizes how many bases he's killed. Because if he did, if I was him, I would just be sending SCV, making sure there's no proxy anywhere, because he's eventually just gonna mine out. He's got no income. He's just got income now because of this base, which he hasn't scanned and hasn't scouted at all. Like, with his vision, he can't remake a single unit. And look at this. Double scan. Sees nothing there. And again, no turrets is going to lose, like, everything. Thankfully, his opponent is still kind of floating a lot. And that base looks like it was a tiny bit too late. DTs have done well, but it looks like just supply-wise, loklok should win. But, I mean, every single fight throughout this entire game, loklok's been ahead supply. And it's not gone well for him. And he's been losing a bunch of his supply to disruptor shots and DTs, to be fair. He's lost his workers to DTs, and he's lost his army to disruptors. I could very easily see Warbuffll taking this engagement and winning with big disruptor shots. Not quite as big as needed, but that's one step. He's got 3 BCs, but that's not going to help much, especially if they're not dealing with the Tempest. Every single time Warbuffll has used a disruptor, it's gotten its value's worth. I'm so surprised that loklok managed to win this game with how sloppy his micro was. And also after how lucky Warbuffll got in both this game and the last game, to be fair. Like, 4 times? 4 times your opponent moves out and you drop at that very moment. Like, come on, man. It's one thing to happen versus me when I'm a really unlucky guy, but to happen twice to loklok as well? Come on, bro. Give us a break. That was definitely a very cringy game on both sides. Loklok, if you end up watching this, I apologize. It's just, it just amazes me when people are higher ranked than me and I see them make mistakes that I personally never make. That's what just kind of always gets me. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's understandable if you never face disruptors to fail so epically to versus disruptors. If you're never facing, you just don't have any practice versus them. But disruptors, no one uses disruptors because it's so easy to deal with them. That'll be it for this game. We ended up winning, thankfully. And usually I would be ashamed of myself for losing a TVP on Eternal Empire. But I'm not really given that I would have won that if it wasn't for super unlucky timing. So GG, well played to everyone. Warhawk, I mean, sure, he nearly all killed, but I mean, that's just Warhawk. He's one of the best Terrans in minor league StarCraft right now. And arguably the best diamond player. I think with Terrans, it's between Warhawk and Jaded Shard. One of those two. And I'm not saying that just because they all killed us. I've seen more games than that. and they are just overall very, very solid players. But that'll be it for this week. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week.